Hey everybody, welcome to the Player's Take, episode 85. I am your host, Justin DeSimone, joined by my two co-hosts, a League of Legends degenerate, Montrell Rice, and the Queen Supreme herself, Tiara Atari. How are you guys doing today?
Awesome.
Sounds like a Pizza Hut pizza. Welcome to the Queen Supreme.
They use bed sizes or mattress sizes. We got the Queen Supreme. We got the King Pepperoni.
And they have to leave a certain space between the drink and the pizza so that the drive Tiara crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like I said last week, I'm going with it. That's the official nickname until we can come up with something better. So, Montrell, you are a League of Legends degenerate. I'm sticking with that. And Tiara is the Queen Supreme. So that's what we're going with.
Yes, especially in Among Us.
Oh my god.
All right. So how are you guys doing this week? Is everything good? I feel like there's some bubble in here.
I'm just trying to stay above water.
Yeah, this has been a really, depressing week.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. We don't have to dig into that.
I don't know that it's been a depressing week for me. But work is just,
tiring.
Yeah.
Exhausting. I feel you. Well, in that case, why don't we just get right into it then? No bullshit this week. Let's just jump right into the show.
We can still bullshit around. Do some bullshit.
We'll fit it in somewhere. We'll fit it in later. All right. I'll ask you at the end of the show, Montrell. If you have something, that's everyone's little present at the end of the show. All right. We're gonna have some bullshit from Montrell that we're gonna talk about. All right. For those of you who haven't listened before, this is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post every week, 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and your favorite podcast app of choice. We're also on YouTube on Mondays, 6 a.m. Central Time. And you've heard the nicknames at the top of the show. However, those aren't the official nicknames. We want real nicknames. So if you have an idea for a nickname for us, for the hosts of this show, please send them to theplayerstake01@gmail.com, or you can send it to @theplayerstake on Twitter. Either one of those will work. You can also send questions to either of those places.
And we'll read them on the show.
We will read them on the show. So let's get into it. Let's start like we always do with who wants to start?
I'll start. I guess I did download Super Mario, All Stars.
Yep, I see that. And
I played it for about 5 minutes, and I immediately regretted my purchase.
$60, bro. You spent $60 on this.
Yeah.
And you bought it on the eShop, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, and I can't take it.
You can't return it. You can't return it. Oh my god, what a fucking dude! You didn't get the physical version.
I couldn't find it anywhere.
Is it sold out already everywhere?
I couldn't find it anywhere. Yeah,
I knew it would be.
The next time I can get it, I think it says in like mid-October or some shit like that.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so I played it. I actually got to I beat the first boss. I beat the first Bowser, and then I got to the second part, and I didn't really feel like playing anymore. Then I switched to Sunshine. I only played that for like 5 minutes, and I stopped playing. I didn't play Galaxy yet. That's the only one I haven't played at all. So I am interested in playing that one.
Okay. Well, that game's really good. So
and then I've been playing Escape from Tarkov. So I didn't know this was like a buy-in to this game. You have to buy. It's like you got to pay $50 against this game. It's not a free-to-play game. And the game is like super unforgiving. So it's not a battle royale. It is, but it isn't. You get different parts of the map that you can go into. It's a huge city, Tarkov, obviously. And you get different parts of the map of that city that you can go into. It may have 10 to 15 players in it, along with some NPCs. And the NPCs are almost like boss level. Like, these aren't no fucking regular NPCs. They have really good aim. The game is supposed to be like semi-realistic, so like it's just really unforgiving. It's not. For some reason, I'm still addicted to it. Like, the first time I played it, I was just like, I fucking hate this game. I don't even know why I spent this money. Because I saw a YouTuber playing it, right? Because I went down this weird YouTube rabbit hole, right? I was watching how to make an AR pistol, and then I was watching
oh my god,
I was watching paintball stuff, like paintball tournaments here in Texas, and then I watched Woods Ball, which is like a simulation paintball where they have in the woods, and it's like an army of like 100 people on each side, and they go paintballing. And then I don't know how I got to Escape from Tarkov. YouTube was like, hey, you might like Escape from Tarkov. So I watched a couple of videos of it, and I'm like, yo, this game looks really fucking fun. So I watched it, and it's kind of nothing like the YouTube videos I watched. It is, but it isn't, because you got like a whole thing you have to do. You have to build like a little hideout to do certain things. Then you got these dealers that you gotta level up, and it's an MMO. It's not a fucking battle royale at all. It's like an MMO. But the thing is, if you go out into the you can go out as a scavenger or as a PMC. You go out as a PMC, that's your actual character, and the scavenger is like a randomly generated loadout, and you load into the maps as a scavenger, and you disguise yourself as one of the NPCs, which are called scavengers on the map, and you can kill the players and you can kill the scavengers if you want to. The NPCs or the scavengers won't kill you when you are a scavenger. They won't shoot you off rip unless you shoot at them. And then you can take people's gear and then run it back and then put that gear onto your player. And you will want to do that because if you die as a player, you will lose all your gear, everything on you. And it's really unforgiving to like new players. And I had to do a lot of research, and I mean, I like the game, but it's like I gotta learn it. So
okay, but how do you win? Is there a win condition?
There really isn't any win condition, right? It's like a raid. So you go into they call them raids, right? That's what they call them when you load into the map. So you load into the raid, and the whole objective of the game is to get better loot. So you go into there, spawn, you sell, you get loot, you sell it to the vendors, and then the vendors open up more items to you. I'm assuming, because I haven't got that far yet, but from what I've learned so far, the vendors open up better items to you. You get more money, and you do these little quests or whatever, and you just level up your vendors and stuff like that. Each map has a boss that you can go to and you can fight, but the boss is like super hard. He's like decked out with gear. So when you fight him, you're going to have like a 4-man raid with you, because not only that, but if you're shooting, everyone on the map can hear you, and everyone on the map may come, and once you wipe that boss out, they'll just wipe you out and take your loot. So it's like a risk reward. The whole game's a huge risk reward thing, and there really isn't a win condition, if that makes any sense. There's like
you're just trying to accumulate gear.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this definitely doesn't sound like the game for me.
Yeah, I knew you wouldn't like it.
No, this sounds like one of those fucking survival games, like fucking DayZ or something.
That's a great analogy. It's exactly like that. Yeah,
I'm not interested. It's a game. It's a game designed for people to be assholes. That's what it sounds like, because that's what DayZ turned into, and that's what all those games turn into. Like, I'm looking for something competitive like that. That's, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know why it took so long for somebody to explain to me what Escape from Tarkov was, but it took till now, even though I've talked to many people about this game, like no one actually explained what it was. So thank you, Montrell.
Even when I watched the YouTube videos, I didn't know what it was. I'm talking about like 45-minute gameplay videos of like streamers playing this game, right? Yeah. So like even that, I did not know what the fuck this game was, and I'm like, oh, well, no, the game mechanics look cool and everything like that, so I'm gonna go play it. And yeah, it's essentially a survivor looter shooter, MMO-esque type game. They combine like 3 different things, but it doesn't necessarily do everything well. It's just very, very minimalist, if that makes any sense. It's survival almost to the fullest. You have a minimalist HUD and everything like that. It almost kind of, in my opinion, kind of tries too hard. That's me. Yeah. And I mean, I know a lot of people would disagree with that, because a lot of people, when I put on my Twitter that I was playing this game, like 4 or 5 people inbox me like, yo, I'll play with you, I love this game. And I'm just like, it is addicting. I can see how it's addicting, but I'm honestly, to be honest with you, I'm only playing this game because I paid $50 for it, and I'm gonna get my $50 worth. So I'm starting to understand why you had a depressing week, Montrell. You spent $110 on 2 games you're not really having fun with. So
and you're trying to like force yourself into playing them to justify the purchase, man.
Yeah, so
I've been there before, and it sucks.
yeah, so
But Mario Galaxy, worth it. Okay, that's worth the fact that you haven't played it. Probably alone is worth the $60. So
okay.
just play Mario Galaxy. That game is fucking awesome. Like,
All right.
that's probably my favorite 3D Mario personally. So
Yeah, but I didn't mean to go too long on Escape from Tarkov. I just wanted to explain to people who did not know what that game was, because no one
I needed to know.
will tell you what it is.
Yeah, I needed to know. I definitely wanted to know. So now when people ask me if I want to play Escape from Tarkov, I can tell them no.
Yeah.
I have no interest in that game. And I know for a fact I don't.
Yeah, it's definitely not for everyone at all. I can see the appeal to it, but yeah,
I've been playing more Apex pretty much. I really haven't played anything other than Apex. I did a few sessions, probably played, I don't know, 6 or 7 hours in the past week or so. Getting back into the feel of it, man. It's funny not playing a multiplayer game for 3 months, how much your skills fucking degrade. Like, God, we came back, dude, like me, Snakes, and Jet, Montrell, and we fucking suck. We're so bad. Like, my aim is trashed right now. Like, I can't hit anybody. I'm starting to get it back, but it's like, man, it's not like riding a bicycle. It's just like I feel like I have to relearn how to play again, to get those like reflexes back. It's like, man. So so I've been playing that though, and still having fun with it, despite the fact that there's been some struggles. We have gotten a few wins, but we expect better of ourselves at this point. Otherwise, I haven't really been playing much else. I've kind of been watching some anime for the most part. I've not been in the mood to game very much recently.
I will agree with that. Besides these 2 games, I've just been sitting around.
Yeah, it's just I'm not feeling it right now. I don't know why. Maybe it's like end of generation blues, or like I'm anticipating the new console. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't really feel like playing anything. I will say the itch is starting to come around. Like, I have been thinking about playing like Divinity and Neo today and yesterday. I'm like kind of starting to like get myself in the headspace of maybe playing those. So I might start playing those in the next week again. But we'll see how that goes. So Tiara, what about you? What have you been playing this week?
I was playing nothing up until actually I beat Pokemon, and then everything was boring. Because I was like, wait, what am I supposed to do after Pokemon? And I was like, all right, they're trying to force me to buy this expansion pack, which I don't feel like getting right now. So yeah, I was playing nothing. But actually, the ending to Pokemon was pretty good. I like the fight with the champion. That was pretty good. But now I'm playing Among Us.
Yeah.
And I discovered this game today. During my lunch break, and I've been like addicted to it ever since. Yeah, and it's the commentary, it's everything. Like, it's funny because I was the imposter. I killed somebody, and then I jumped into this vent, and then somebody came into this room, and I was like, perfect. And the cooldown had not went down, and it was like a long time. It was like 12 seconds left, and I was just like, "Oh my Jesus!" And I just quit the game.
You gave yourself away.
Yeah, I was just like, "All right," I just quit the game.
Yeah,
because I already knew it was gonna happen next. It was gonna be an emergency meeting, and they're gonna be like, I did it. And so Among Us is actually a quite addicting game. It's so fun. This whole like it's the mob mentality that is the funny part. Yeah. It's the lynching that is the funny part. Like, somebody's just like, oh, I saw Black do it, and then everybody's like, wait, where's your proof? And then all it takes is a couple people to start voting Black, and then once everybody else see where the majority vote, where the majority vote is going, it's gone.
Black's dead.
and then, but the funny part comes, what makes me laugh entire time, like all the time, is when it's like such and such was not an imposter, and it makes me laugh all the time because everybody's like, well, because it reminds me of like, the whole like witch thing.
Yeah.
You know, like if you
yeah,
drown, if you drown a witch, it's like if you survive, you were a witch.
They come up with whatever reason. Oh my god, I saw her hanging fucking clothes off a tree. She's a witch.
She's doing math.
Right, but it's like if you die, it's like, oh shit, my bad. I guess she wasn't a witch. And that's kind of how the game is. It's like, if we float you and you wasn't an imposter, oh shoot, my bad. I guess you was telling the truth.
Could you imagine taking a time machine back to that time, and you're just like watching, and you're like, oh shit, like she could do math. Like math. Holy shit, she's a witch. It was like, whoa,
only witches are intelligent enough to do math.
But did y'all see that video? That reminds me of that video. I haven't seen that yet. That video, that TikTok that I saw. It was like, the guy comes over. He's like, Mary, look at what he was like, look at what I'm reading. She's like, oh, such and such book. Oh, that's a good book. He's like, who taught you to read? No. Before he says who taught you to read, he's like, did you just read? She's like, I didn't just read that. And he was like, and then he's looking at her, and then he was like, okay, answer me this. What is 2 plus 2? And then she's like, 4. He's like, who the fuck taught you math? Like, yeah, it's like a hilarious thing. And I watch that video quite often because it's like so funny.
Burn her.
Like,
yeah, that's just funny. Like, oh my god, a woman's actually educated. We must burn her at the stake.
What a horrible
That's
time.
I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at how stupid.
This is only 400 years ago, people. 400 years ago, we were doing this. We were literally burning women because they were fucking like they were intelligent. Or
I mean, it's not even intelligent, just like literate.
Right? Yeah. Anything. Yeah. Right. They could read a word or two. Like, oh my god, dude. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's a terrible time. People are like, oh, I want to live in it. I want to live in the 1600s. No,
you don't.
No, I do not.
You
I would
fucking
never
don't.
live there.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I don't feel like they bathe properly in the 1600s.
No,
I don't know.
thank you. Do you ever watch like one of those old movies in that time period, and they're like having sex, like a sex scene? I'm like, oh my god, the smell must be fucking horrendous.
Horrible. I mean, I guess you could be nose blind too.
Didn't they they still threw their shit out the window at that point, didn't they?
Like, I think so.
Oh
but I mean, or put in like chamber pots or something. But I'm just saying though, you probably be like nose blind to it.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah, probably.
Because,
right.
I mean, sometimes in my apartment, especially now staying home with like COVID, sometimes like the trash can will smell a certain type of way, and I'm like, oh, I'll take that out later, and I'll just like become nose blind to it. But let me leave my apartment and come back in. I'm like,
you'll smell
I'm
it.
like, what the is that smell? Like,
oh yeah, that happens to me. Yeah, like if you eat something like in your car, like on a lunch or something, you don't smell it when you're eating the lunch, and then you come back later in the day and you get in your car and you're like, oh god, oh my god, does it really smell like that? It's like, yeah, I'm sure that definitely happened. But yeah, that time period, like theoretically, is cool to live in, but you probably needed to be a white man who was European. Like that was the only way that it might have been cool. Otherwise, you were probably getting murdered by the white man in some form or fashion, one way or another, whether it was being an Indian or a fucking woman or whatever. Like it's just like, yeah. So yeah, no, I don't think I'd want to live in that time. Plus, yeah, the hygiene, the lack of just like
let's just say, for instance, the sexism, the racism, and everything else, all the other isms are gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the hygiene would just kill me. Like,
I would say, yeah, and this is the time before slaves, because I would just like to say that people of pigmentation knew how to bathe. So.
Yeah, that's true.
And then, well, even medicine, right? Like, if you got sick, you're just hoping you got better.
I mean, you chew on some herbs.
Yeah, right. Ginger root or some shit.
What's considered Eastern medicine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't. Yeah, 1600s probably not the best time period to live in, but. Maybe if you lived in England, I guess it might be okay, but or like France or something. But yeah, America probably not. Probably not great. All right, Tiara, you played anything else other than Among Us?
Nope.
All right, cool. Let's move into the news. I do have one correction from last week. I mistakenly said that the Oddworld developers, I think they're called Oddworld Group or something like that. I don't know. The Oddworld Soulstorm developers were owned by Microsoft. They are not. They are their own independent studio. So I got that completely wrong. Just wanted to correct that before we got into things. All right, let's get into the news proper. We have got a giant story this week. Yes, we've had two weeks of giant stories with the Microsoft Xbox reveal, Xbox Series X and S reveal, and then the PlayStation 5 date and pricing. But Microsoft does not sit idly by while PlayStation has the limelight, because, man, did they drop a fucking hammer on the game industry yesterday, Monday. They announced that they have acquired Zenimax, and that company is the parent company to Bethesda, the publisher, and Bethesda GameWorks, which is the software developer that makes Fallout, The Elder Scrolls, those games. They now own them in a $7.5 billion deal that I want to read some quotes here before we move on that are very key here. So Phil Spencer put a blog post together on Xbox. I think it was Xbox Wire is what this website is called. This is basically like an Xbox news site. And basically went through, let me go through it. Let me just say the quote. All right. Quote, "Today is a special day as we welcome some of the most accomplished studios in the game industry to Xbox. We are thrilled to announce Microsoft has entered into an agreement to acquire ZeniMax Media, parent company of Bethesda Softworks. As one of the largest, most critically acclaimed, privately held game developers and publishers in the world, Bethesda is an incredibly talented group of 2,300 worldwide who make up some of the most accomplished creative studios in our industry across Bethesda Softworks, Bethesda Game Studios, id Software, ZeniMax Online Studios, Arcane, Machine Games, Tango Gameworks, Alpha Dog, and Roundhouse Studios. These are the teams responsible for franchises like The Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Wolfenstein, Doom, Dishonored, Prey, Quake, Starfield, and many more. Bethesda's games have always had a special place on Xbox and in the hearts of millions of gamers around the world. Our teams have a close and storied history working together, from the amazing first Doom and its id Tech engine, innovating games on PCs, to Bethesda bringing the first console game to the original Xbox, the groundbreaking Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. Over the years, I've had many deep conversations with the creative leaders of Bethesda on the future of gaming, and we've long shared similar visions for the opportunities for creators and their games to reach more players in more ways. Just as they took the first bold steps to bring the Elder Scrolls franchise to the original Xbox, Bethesda were early supporters of Xbox Game Pass, bringing their games to new audiences across devices, and have been actively investing in new gaming technologies like cloud streaming of games. We will be adding Bethesda's iconic franchises to Xbox Game Pass for console and PC. Highlight that. One of the things that has me most excited is seeing the roadmap with Bethesda's future games, some announced and many unannounced, to Xbox consoles and PC, including Starfield, the highly anticipated new epic space adventure currently in development by Bethesda Game Studios." End quote. I'm going to end the quote there. The rest of it's just kind of like, praise, blah, 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 blah. And then Todd Howard also said something when this was announced as well. Quote, "Like our original partnership, this one is about more than one system or one screen. We share a deep belief in the fundamental power of games and their ability to connect, empower, and bring joy. And a belief we should bring that to everyone, regardless of who you are, where you live, or what you play on, regardless of the screen size, the controller, or your ability to even use one." End quote. So I picked that quote out of a blog post that Todd posted, because it's key to me. It's important within the context of this whole deal.
Yeah,
is that a lot of people are concerned that Xbox is going to make all the games that Bethesda makes exclusive to Xbox.
Oh my god, I keep tweeting that that's not going to fucking happen.
And I don't. This is clear. This makes it clear to me that podcasts like ours that try to talk about these things and educate people on the way the industry works need to exist, because people do not understand the way this industry works. They also don't understand Microsoft. Microsoft did not acquire all of these companies, did not spend $7.5 billion to silo the Elder Scrolls on Xbox. While that would sell Xboxes, no question, Fallout, the Elder Scrolls, even Starfield would absolutely move Xboxes if it was an Xbox exclusive. There's way more money on the table if they just leave it as a cross-platform game. There's just too much there for them to make it exclusive. So I guess I want to get your thoughts on your guys' thoughts on this move. This is huge for Microsoft, and I guess let me go through real quick the studios that Microsoft now owns, because they now own 23 game studios, up from 15. It's just fucking crazy. So before they acquired Zenimax, they owned 343 Industries, who make Halo, Compulsion Games, who make We Happy Few, Double Fine Productions, who make Psychonauts, Grim Fandango, Broken Age, In Exile, who make Wasteland, Bard's Tale, Mojang, who make Minecraft, Ninja Theory, who have made Devil May Cry in the past, Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice most recently, Obsidian Games, The Outer Worlds, South Park, The Stick of Truth. They've also made Fallout games in the past. They're a very well-known RPG studio. Playground Games, who make Forza Horizon, Rare, who is an extremely storied company that most recently made Sea of Thieves, The Coalition, who's made Gears of War recently, Turn 10 Studios, Forza Motorsport, Undead Labs, State of Decay, World's Edge, who is making Age of Empires, and now own id Software, who most recently made Doom Eternal, Machine Games, who have made all the Wolfenstein games, Roundhouse Studios, who most recently made Rune 2, Tango Gameworks, who made The Evil Within and are currently working on Ghostwire Tokyo. Alpha Dog Studios is Alpha Dog Games rather is a mobile game studio. Arcane Studios has made Dishonored, and they are making Deathloop. And then Arcane Studios Austin, which is a support studio for Arcane Studios. Bethesda Game Studios Austin, Dallas, Montreal, and then Bethesda Softworks. All 5 of those have made the Fallout games, Elder Scrolls. They're working on Starfield right now, Fallout 76. And then ZeniMax Online Studios, who have made the Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76 as well. They've worked on that as well. So that is a huge portfolio of studios, but the Bethesda ones also come with all the IPs that I mentioned there. Doom, Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Dishonored, Wolfenstein.
I guess my biggest question is, I mean, I know this is for like all the Fallout fanboys. Do you think that Xbox can say, hey, Bethesda, let Obsidian work on the next Fallout game? Do you think they can do that? I know
that's a possibility.
I know they said, I read a recent article. It was a tweet and it was an article too. I can't remember the link, the source of it, but they pretty much said that Bethesda is still going to be working kind of like
independently.
Yeah, right. Independently. But yeah, I mean, I guess they can, since Xbox they own all of this stuff. They can say like, hey, we want Obsidian to work on the next Fallout. And I'm pretty sure Obsidian wants to. They've actually expressed interest in doing that. They're just like, hey, Bethesda said no to us, so fuck them. That's why we made the Outer Worlds. But that's going to be interesting because we got Starfield and the Outer Worlds under the same roof. So they're going to be like competing with each other.
Yeah. Well, dude, the thing is about this is that what you just said is a really salient point, because Fallout 76 is the last Fallout we got, and that has left a really sour taste, I think, in a lot of Fallout fans' collective mouths. And they're not making they're not going to make a new Fallout game until Starfield is out.
I mean, was it not a good game?
No, it was terrible.
It was horrible. Yeah. They're not going to make a new Fallout game. Like Fallout 5 is not going to happen before the Elder Scrolls 6 comes out and Starfield comes out. We don't have a release date for Starfield. We have no idea when it's coming out. And the Elder Scrolls 6 probably isn't coming out until the end of this video game generation, probably like 2026, 2027. So like after that, they'll start working on Fallout. So that leaves the door open for a company like Obsidian to come in and make a Fallout game. So I think that's a very, very realistic thing that could potentially happen. And if Microsoft wants it to happen, they literally own both of these companies. They own the IP. If they're like, if Phil Spencer's like, Obsidian, you're making a Fallout game, and Bethesda's like, fuck no, why are you letting them do that? Like, fuck you, dude, we own you. Like, it's our IP. We can do what we want with it. We can give it to anybody. Like, so I think that's a distinct possibility, personally.
All right, now turning off my gamer side and going to the business aspect of the side. side of things. I think this is so I'm on the end of like two ends. I'm on the, whatever I'm trying to say. I'm on the odds of two ends, right?
Two
so
sides
it's like
of the fence.
Yeah, two sides of the fence. So on one side of the fence, as an Xbox person, or I wouldn't say I was an Xbox person, but I'm kind of biased a little bit towards Xbox. I'll admit that. I'm glad they acquired all these studios so that we can get great first party games. Because I think the 360 and the Xbox, OG Xbox, had some really good first party games. A lot of people forget that, but whatever. So I'm glad for that. But the business aspect of this, I'm glad that they have a lot of support games. So when I mean by support games, like they got the mobile games, the Blades, Elder Scrolls Blades, Elder Scrolls Online. They got Minecraft. Like these are games that are never going to go out of style for maybe another couple of years, another 10 years maybe, and they can still break in money. So that smaller studios, or not even smaller studios, but like studios that want to do first party games that are kind of experimental, or not necessarily experimental, but whatever, like they can make games. So maybe ID Software wants to make another Doom, or not another Doom, but like another game, a new IP, a fresh IP, they can do that. They have the money, the acquisition to do that. So I like that from that aspect. And I think people are getting that mixed up. They think that they're going to suck all of Bethesda stuff out and then like, ha, you're not playing the PlayStation. You're not. No, like all these third party games, like the Fallout games, the Elder Scrolls games, when they go to all these other consoles, that money is coming right back to Xbox, and it's going to go right to their first party studios. So it's like, they're acquiring more money just to make better. Well, I would hope to make better games. Now, on the other side of this, I don't want Microsoft to buy up everything, because even the CEO of Microsoft was like, yeah, maybe we should just buy up everything. And I'm like, okay, first of all, let's chill out. Let's not buy everything. Let's have competition. Competition is good. Like, I know I'm very anti-capitalist, but this is the good side of capitalism. Like, I think Sony is going to have to step up their game, or they already stepping up their game. They forced Microsoft to step up their game. And now us as the gamers, we're going to benefit from that, because hopefully, I'm just being hopeful, this generation will get better games, like on everybody's turf. The only people that's really been quiet, honestly, is Nintendo, but I really never considered Nintendo at odds with both of these companies.
I mean, Nintendo has a large stable of studios at their disposal too.
Yeah.
So.
But like I said, I really never considered them in the stratosphere of the Xbox PlayStation war. Like they've always been off on their own turf, and they're doing their own thing. But yeah, another side thing, shut the fuck up, PC gamers. I'm sorry, like just shut the fuck up, please. Shut up. I'm a PC gamer. Shut the fuck up. Oh my god, I can get
nobody likes us. Nobody likes us.
I can get a 3080. Like, shut the fuck up. No one cares, bro. Like, no one cares. Like, you think the guy or the mom or the dad who comes home and wants to just turn the fucking Xbox for the kids and like, oh man, I wish I had a PC for my kids. Oh yeah, let me boot that up. No one wants to do that, bro. I'm sorry. Like, stop telling people to not buy an Xbox and build a PC. It's just not gonna fucking happen. Now, you guys can play all the games, which is a good thing. So just shut the fuck up and enjoy it. Like, I don't understand why y'all complain about it. They're literally complaining about Gamecast.
I mean, it's really like the thing of you can play a bunch of games, but it doesn't really matter. Like when my laptop was working and I had access to all the games, it's kind of like having cable. You got like 500 channels, but you only watch like 4.
Yeah.
So it's like I had access to all these games, and I realized it really didn't matter. I really didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
And so
you don't have time to play. You don't have time to play them all.
And then that's the thing too. It's like I have this huge backlog.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of people are saying like Xbox shot themselves in the foot and stuff like that, and I'm like,
wait, with this move? Are you kidding me?
With the whole Game Pass, people were still saying that with the whole Game Pass thing. People were like, oh, well,
okay.
why would I buy an Xbox? Why would I do this? And then it's just so weird the talk about even this acquire of the studios. People are like upset that this happened, and I'm like, it really doesn't affect us because I've seen what they did with Minecraft. Like, if they had did that with like made Minecraft exclusive to Xbox, then that would have been a bad move, and then I would have been worried.
None of their games are exclusive to Xbox. They're all at the bare minimum on PC, and a lot of them are on other platforms, PS4 or Switch. Like they've done this, and let me explain this in a way that I think a lot of people will understand. Okay, this deal is a win-win for Microsoft, no matter what the fuck happens with the games they sell through Bethesda. Okay, that's why they're going to keep the games cross-platform. Because think about this, right? The games on PS5 are going to cost $70, right? So let's say Starfield comes out. It's $70, right? You want to get it on PS5 or you want to get it. Guess what? It's going to be day and date on Game Pass. Like they literally, Phil Spencer made sure to mention that all these games are coming to Game Pass. So these games are going to be day and date on Game Pass. So this is the financial conundrum they're going to be presenting to consumers is that, oh, well, you buy it on PlayStation and it's $70. Well, okay, guess what? You buy it on PlayStation. Well, we get $49 of that because we get 70% of the cost of the sale of that game, right? Or you can come to Game Pass on PC or Xbox and you pay us $10 a month and you have the game. So either way, we win because you either bought an Xbox or you're subscribed to Game Pass or you bought it on PS5 and you just gave us $50. Like, they don't lose no matter which way you go. So it's like they're making money. This is a money deal. The money here is huge. Like, they're going to make this $7.5 billion back very quickly.
Yeah,
like,
probably within the first 3 years, honestly.
Yeah, because this is like Bethesda's games sell. As much as we give them shit and we talk a lot of shit about Bethesda, their games fucking sell, dude. They sell 10 million copies, a lot of their IPs. Like, it's crazy shit. So this is a huge deal. $7.5 billion, by the way, is an insane amount of money for this acquisition. Let me put it in perspective. That is $3.5 billion more than Disney acquired Star Wars for.
Holy shit, you're right.
Yes, right. That's fucking nuts. This is the biggest acquisition in video game history. This has never happened, like something this large. This is basically equivalent to somebody buying EA or Activision or fucking Ubisoft. Like, that's what this is. Like, Bethesda wasn't on the level of those three, but they were very, very close, in my opinion, as a publisher. Like, very, very close. So this is crazy. I can't believe, like, I was flabbergasted when this news came out. I'm like, holy shit. Because what they get to do now is they can play with these studios. This group of studios they have. You want maybe they make a Halo game. Fucking,
I was just going to say that. Maybe they can team up and like make the Halo games better or some shit like that.
Or Machine Games, maybe, like, because they're a shooter studio too. Like, like shit, dude. There's so many options that Microsoft has now. They can play with these IPs. They can move them around to different studios and see who works with which one. Like Obsidian with Fallout. They could do this with all their shit, you know. So it's like that doesn't mean that like 343 wouldn't make a Halo game. Like, maybe it would make like a side Halo game, you know, like Reach or ODST or something like that, you know, not like a main numbered one. But that's all possible now with this. So they've just given themselves options. This deal, there's no way you can call this deal a bad idea from Microsoft's part. This is like, to me, like they're making themselves a powerhouse. Microsoft, the company, is saying we are not getting out of video games, period. The end. You don't spend $7.5 billion if you don't believe your video game division is worth it. Like, no. Xbox is here to stay. Whatever we were talking about a few weeks ago, no. I'm a fucking idiot. Fuck it. They're in. Yeah, they're all in. Yeah. They're all in, dude. They're all in. They put all the chips on the table, you know? And it's like, they're here. And they're not going anywhere. Like, it's done. I don't know. This shit's great.
Another thing people weren't looking at like this too, right? Like, I don't know. Sometimes gamers are one track minded. They're like, oh, well, you know, it's still not doing good. Japan, okay. Like,
Japan's a tiny ass market.
Japan
at this point
has Sony on lock. We can get their, you know, their exclusives from there and everything of that nature. But we have like a Western RPG audience. Like me, I've been dying for like just a good Western RPG lately. So it's like, I love Western RPGs. The best RPG, I mean, debatable is between, you know, in my opinion, Mass Effect or The Witcher. And those are Western RPGs. So like, those are going to be, well, not The Witcher, but and not Mass Effect, but like even Fallout New Vegas, right? Like, those are going to be available on the Xbox or coming from Xbox Studios. I think the whole dichotomy around Xbox is now changing because everyone used to look at Xbox as the dude bro shooter console, but I think now a lot of people are gonna look at that as like, yo, this is like the Western RPG, CRPG console because like the Wastelands is on Xbox and all the other shit like that, and that game did really well. And it's
Well, yeah, you got Wasteland, Obsidian's games,
Yep.
and then obviously all Bethesda's games are basically Western RPGs.
Yeah, so they created a niche for themselves. How PlayStation got their niche, like the Japanese RPGs and action games, they got their niche now. So it's like we're gonna see it's gonna be a totally different game generation for the next gen, and I can't wait to see it. To be honest with you, it's gonna be crazy. I think it's I think these next 5 years for games are gonna be fucking crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree with you. I think this is a very obvious investment in Game Pass once again, because I do think all Bethesda's games are going to be day and date on Game Pass. Like I don't see why they wouldn't do that. And I'm with you. I think 5 to 7 years from now, at the end of this generation, we're going to be looking at a very different video game industry than we're looking at right now. Like I think Microsoft's effect on it is going to be felt very soon with Game Pass, because numbers are hold on. I've got numbers here for Game Pass in the last, let's see. Bear with me here for a second. I'm sorry, I lost it. Here we go. So Microsoft said Game Pass now has 15 million subscribers, up from 10 million that they announced in April. That was 5 months ago. They've literally gotten 50% more subscribers in 5 months. Like, it's working. Game Pass is working. Like, people are subscribing to it. And yes, like we talked about this, they're going to price hike that service at some point in the future. They're going to price hike the service. And why wouldn't they? Because you're all going to be addicted to it. You know, it's like, so I don't know. And the thing is, they have such a large portfolio of first parties at this point, first party games. They don't even need third parties to make Game Pass worth it. You know,
to be honest, yeah, you're right.
Seriously, you're at the point where you're going to have large major releases every 6 months, probably. You know, like might.
I saw a couple of tweets saying like they're going to lose profit if they put their games, like their, Starfield on, Xbox or whatever, on the Xbox Game Pass. And I guess you can say they're going to lose a profit, but it's like not everyone's going to be subscribed to Game Pass. Well, I guess now if you're playing on Xbox, if you have Xbox Live, it's going to be it's going to be on Game Pass, right?
It's kind of like when Tesla came out with the first all electric car, and then Tesla released their proprietary information to other companies to make the electric car, and everybody was like, oh, well, why would Tesla do that? They just like giving away money, and it's like, no, because they're still making money. It's still their idea, it's still their patent of how to make this electric car. So every company that makes an electric car, Tesla's still making money off of it, off of every car that's being sold.
Yep.
So it's the same thing. It's like if Xbox is making money, making a game for multiple consoles, every console that game is bought on, doesn't matter which it is, Microsoft is making money. So right. That's just what it is.
Yeah,
of course there's going to be exclusives, but at the end of the day, it's about the bottom line.
Well, another thing,
way more money.
Another thing with this too is that subscriptions are a lot more sustainable as a financial model than the box model that we're working with now with games. If they can get 50 million people subscribe to Game Pass every month, guess what? That's $500 million a month.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's at the $10 price right now. Forget about if they hike it to $15 or $20, and just the way Netflix is, right? That's only 50 million. Like make that larger. Like that number could get huge. I think that's realistic because Game Pass is on multiple devices. It's not just on Xbox. It's on PC as well. And eventually it could be on everything. And at that point, I mean, they've got the whole game industry in their hand, So it's like, that's way more sustainable than trying to market a game and sell a game to a specific group of people and hope to God that 10 million of them buy it. Like that's not that amount of money. That 10 million that I just said, it's $60. That's 600 million. And that is not pure profit the way that Game Pass is, because you got to pay the retailers, you got to pay whoever the platform holder is, you got to pay you have to pay all that stuff, extra things. You have to pay shipping to ship the fucking games or whatever. And then to make the games, actually, you got to manufacture them too. That's for physical. So it's like, there are aspects to it that take some of that money away. It's not as pure profit. Like that $10 a month is just like they get all of it. It's theirs, you know. They're not paying anyone else for that. So it's like, I don't know. I think the model works. They're playing the long game very clearly, and I think they're trying to change the game industry into something different. And you know, a lot of people are calling Game Pass the Netflix of gaming, and I think that makes a lot of sense. That's what it looks like. That's what it feels like, and no one else is even close to them. You know, like with this, like no one has anything. Like other companies, like EA is adding their portfolio to Game Pass. Like that's where we're at with Game Pass. Like EA is so like they're like, oh shit, we have no chance in this realm. Why don't we just take whatever lump sum of money Microsoft's going to give us and put all our games on Game Pass? Like, you know, it's
you know what? I'm glad that's happening. I'm glad Game Pass took off to that point, because I remember like a couple of months ago, maybe like last year in the podcast, like I was really concerned. I think both of us were really concerned about all these subscription models.
Yeah, right.
Coming out. And I like how they now tied in Game Pass to online, and that other people are like, "Oh, I just add my stuff to yours instead of paying $5 a month for my little 10 games that people are going to buy or whatever." Right. So I was like, I think that's really good. Another point is, and I'm not trying to shit on Sony, but guys, I'm shitting on the fans, guys. The PlayStation Plus thing that just came out, that collection, that shit's not touching Game Pass, bro. Better get close. Give it up. Like,
wait, are people trying to argue that?
Yes, they're like,
no, they're not.
Like, oh man, Microsoft better watch out for that PS collection. It's like, bro, no, no.
God, they couldn't be. They're light years away from where Game Pass is. Like, Game Pass is a mature, developed service that has a large catalog, and yeah. Games move in and out of it every month. That happens every month. But that happens with Netflix too, and no one gives a shit. We all still subscribe to Netflix. Like, that's exactly what Microsoft is trying to do. They're trying to build a service that's so fucking valuable that you subscribe to it and never unsubscribe, because you literally cannot justify to yourself getting rid of it. You're like, I'm going to use it. Like, I'm going to use it. And if you own an Xbox at this point, why the fuck don't you have Game Pass? You might as well. Like, you seriously, you should, you literally should. Like, if Sony had the equivalent of this with their first parties and their library of games, I would be subscribing to it.
I still think they should do that. I think they dropped the ball at PlayStation Now. That's a whole different conversation. But they did. They dropped this. This could have been PlayStation Now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't know. So I don't know. Look, I'm not a Microsoft fanboy. I know I sound like one probably lately, but I'm just giving them their props. I'm not an Xbox gamer. I'm not buying an Xbox Series X right now. And I probably don't plan on it. But like, they are stacking dominoes in a way that is impossible to ignore. Okay. Like Sony, I feel like they do this a lot where they rely on their own pedigree, and they rely on their history, and they rely on their name in order to sell their consoles.
I mean, that's a good business. I mean, I'm not knocking them for that, because I mean, if you look at their fans, like, yeah, we do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we go off the Sony name and their reputation, because they have a good reputation. Their games speak for themselves, and honestly,
they do. But you can't rely on that name forever, right? Like, they can't be complacent. That's what I'm trying to say here. They can't be complacent because Xbox is doing enough at this point where they're starting to get to a point where I believe they're going to overtake Sony even without the exclusives, because it's like the services are going to be so good that it's going to be better to have an Xbox. Like, the games, sure, they'll still be on PlayStation, but it's like, I mean, at a certain point, it's like 5 or 10 games a generation. It's like, is it really that bad that you're missing out on those? Like, I don't know. So for me, it is, because I like those games a lot, and I'm sure there's a lot of gamers that feel that way. But if Sony doesn't sweeten the pot, they're making it harder and harder to justify buying their console versus Xbox. That's what I feel.
I think Sony needs to. Obviously, they're still going to get a casual consumer base. I think right now, as much as we love being the hardcore gamers, I feel like, especially doing this podcast, over the last 2 years, I've matured as a gamer to see that hardcore gamers do not pay money. Like targeting the hardcore audience doesn't pay you money because it's such a vocal minority.
No, and they understand the industry.
Yeah.
They know how to get deals on games. Like you don't buy games at launch.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Wait 2 months and the game will be $40 or $30. Like that's just the way the industry works. So they're not preying off us.
Yeah, exactly. And people need to understand, like I said, like all these Japanese exclusive developers and stuff, like we already know how Neo 2 is a great example, because you just told me this a couple of days ago or last week that it just shipped 1 million. Like
1 million.
1 million. And that's
the game's
a
been
great
out for
game.
6 months.
And the game's been out for 6 months. You know what I'm saying? So like that's obviously for a certain audience, niche audience, but it's like
that's not moving consoles.
Yeah, like
that game is not moving consoles.
Like PlayStation needs to, I guess, target the more casual base. Like that's from a market standpoint. I mean, I'm just saying it from a market standpoint. From the gamer side, I kind of hate it that I'm saying this, but from a market standpoint, they need to target consumer, the casual consumer, because that's what Xbox doing. Like my dad don't even play video games. He texts me, was like, "Hey, I might get the Xbox. It's $300." I'm like, yeah, it's $300. Like you can get you a new console for $300. Yeah, and he's like, I might get it just because I want to have it.
Dude, $300 and then you pay $10 a month and you have fucking dozens of games to play. Like, you don't have to buy a game. That's what I'm saying. That's what's so appealing about what Xbox is doing. That's why I'm even thinking about it, because I don't have to buy any games for Xbox. I can literally buy an Xbox Series S and just spend $10 a month. And I can cancel that subscription whenever I want, by the way. If I decide, I don't want to play anything on Xbox for the next month or two, I can just cancel it and then start it back up. Like it's an insane value proposition. It's insane. Sony can't touch this. I'm sorry. They cannot touch it. Like they can't touch it. For literally $120 a year, I can play any Xbox exclusive, any of them, any that comes out. Sony has nothing on that. I will spend half of that money on one fucking game for PlayStation. Like I don't know how else to put it to make it more obvious that this is a like insane value proposition, because that's what it is. That is what it is. Like the Xbox has positioned themselves in a really like brilliant way to me. It might not work out in the short term, but I just think in the long term, Sony better be on notice. Like they can't expect to continue to have the same success if they're going to do nothing. Like they have to really need to do stuff, and they are. I think that PlayStation Plus collection, I think that's a sign that they are thinking ahead. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
So they're maneuvering around each other, but the reason they're doing that is because Xbox is forcing them to. Like they're being forced to, because Xbox is making moves that are so big that they can't sit on their hands. Like they have to do stuff. So I don't know. This acquisition of Zenimax Media is huge, and it like literally is like a seismic shift in video games. But it's not going to change things in a practical way in the short term. Like these games that are coming out on PlayStation, like even Deathloop, which has like an exclusive window on PlayStation 5, that's still going to have an exclusive window on PlayStation 5. They're not canceling that contract. But Phil Spencer did say that the exclusivity of games is going to be case by case going forward. So there will be certain games that some of these companies make, some of these IPs even, that might be exclusive to Xbox. I'm going to assume it's going to be the ones that are smaller. But
that makes sense though. Like that makes, use the cards you have dealt. Like
right.
Like why would I not pull out a Blue Eyes White Dragon and I'm going to destroy my opponent? Like that just makes sense. Like I don't know.
I have the final piece of Exodia. Why wouldn't I play it and win the game? Like,
exactly.
Come on.
Like why wouldn't you? Like I feel so differently, because I feel like if the tables were turned, this was PlayStation. Oh my god.
Oh, the internet would never shut up about it. They would never shut up about it. You would not be able to go anywhere on Twitter without people being like, "Oh, Sony's fucking killing it. Oh my god, dude. Oh, the value proposition is fucking insane." Like, no, fuck you, motherfuckers. Like, Sony. I've been a fan of Sony for 20 years. Okay, I've owned every console they've ever made. Okay, I understand this company. I know this company. Okay, I remember the PlayStation 3, and that company still exists. Okay,
Yes.
they're not gone. Okay, they might seem like they're gone, but I know they're there in the back of the bowels of Sony. They're still there lurking. They can always come out. And Xbox has transformed themselves. They are struggling to fight.
Like I said last week, we were definitely going to see that PS3 Sony come out last week if Xbox didn't come out with their shit.
Exactly. And the Xbox has struggled this entire generation to fight the stink that Don Matrick put on them. And they're still fighting it to this day. And they're going to continue to fight it because the bias that the internet has against Xbox was created by that man and the way he approached the Xbox One launch. And Phil Spencer has been trying to turn that narrative around, and he's been succeeding a little bit, but it's like still, it's for some reason, there's still just a huge swath of people on the internet that fucking hate Xbox for no other reason than their Xbox.
It was, I will say, it was a huge slap in the face for fans. That was, I was like that. I'm like, this is fucking crazy. Are you fucking serious? Like, this is wild to me. Yeah. But I don't know.
But how quickly we forget, though. The shoe was on the other foot. Remember, Sony did the same fucking thing.
Yeah,
it was like they did the same thing with the PS3. So that's all I'm saying. So it's not a done game, okay? It's not over. Like, Xbox is here. They're gonna compete. They're gonna change things too. Game Pass is real. So that's all I gotta say. I'm done. I know I've rambled. I said a lot. So Tiara, you got anything more you want to add on this?
That I wish Microsoft would put out all games on the Game Pass in the future. If I could really just pay a $10 subscription per year, $120 per year to get like a whole catalog of games, like I would do it. It's the same reason why you pay for Netflix and Hulu and the rest of them. You're not expecting to own like all 1,000, movies or TV shows that's on Netflix. Like, no, but you want the option. Like, certain games, I don't want to buy it $60, but I'll play if it's on Game Pass, or, if it's free. Yeah. I'll try it out. But I mean, I want to own it. So, when I beat a game, then that's it. Or I mean, it just all depends. But I like to, know that I can go back and play a game at any time. Like, So I don't know. I like Game Pass. I wish Sony would have had like an answer to Game Pass. Honestly, I would pay for both.
I would too, honestly.
Just to have the option to play what I want when I want to play it.
That would turn me into a digital game.
I pay for game. Like, I pay for Game Pass, and I may not have touched my Xbox in like 3 months. But but like for me, it's about having the option. Same thing. Like, I pay for Netflix, but now I may be watching something on Hulu or Amazon at the time, and I may not look at Netflix for a couple of months. But I pay for the option, so that if one day I decide, I want to go to Netflix, I have the option. If one day I decide I want to turn on my Xbox, I have that option to play whatever I want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair.
So I hope in the future, I hope everything is on, some type of subscription base.
Man, at this point, I would pay Nintendo $20 a month just to give me all your you ain't gotta give me a new stuff. Just give me all the virtual shit.
Montrell, get
virtual
off this
console.
Get off this hill, dude. Get off this hill. We have died so many times on this hill. It is stupid at this point. Like, we need to stop just fucking stabbing ourselves on the top of the virtual console hill. It's not happening, bro. You're never gonna get it.
God.
They don't want you to be happy. Nintendo doesn't want you to be happy. They don't want it. Like, they want you to pay $60 for 3 games that aren't even in widescreen. Go fuck yourself.
All right, I'm dead. That's it.
Fair enough. All right, good job, Xbox. Well done on buying Zenimax. Well played. Well played. All right, let's move on to something that I want to talk about. That has just obviously pre-orders have gone live for some big things in the last week. So PlayStation 5 happened last week after the showcase. We were recording the show actually, and Montrell pre-ordered his PlayStation 5 on the show. You probably heard it. And I
was not able to pre-order it.
Tiara and I were professional and we're taking the show seriously and weren't multitasking.
Wow.
So
we missed the boat.
Completely missed the fucking pre-order window on PlayStation 5 on Thursday, and I ended up getting one Friday. But you want to know what's fucking funny about it? I woke up at 8 a.m. to pre-order the Nvidia 3080, which is the new flagship video card for Nvidia. And what I ended up pre-ordering was a fucking PlayStation 5 because Nvidia was even worse than Sony. So let me go through this, okay? I'm going to take you guys on a journey here over the course of the last week of trying to pre-order these electronics. It's been a fucking nightmare, okay? So PlayStation event happens, right? Sony had beforehand been like, oh, we're going to give you so much notice. You know, pre-orders are going to go live. They're not just going to drop. What are you worried about? And then during the fucking conference, they start going live like fucking that night. Like that night, they start going live. Like I think Walmart dropped, Target dropped, Best Buy dropped. The only person who didn't drop that night was Amazon. And then Amazon went live at midnight, but they were up for literally 10 minutes before they were sold out. And then the next morning, over the course of that night, if you did an all-nighter, you might have got one because they started popping back up on Walmart and Target a little bit, and even Best Buy and even Amazon somewhat. And then I got one on fucking samsclub.com, which is a warehouse store that sells bulk items. If you know what Sam's Club is, it's the same as Costco, BJ's. If you have those near you, it's that kind of store. They sell bulk shit, you know? But you need a membership to go in, that kind of thing. Well, I got a PlayStation 5 on Sam's Club. That's where I got mine.
Maybe I'll try to go to Costco and get one.
But the stupid part about it was I was trying to get a 3080, like I said. The Nvidia launch of the 3080 is one of the worst product launches I have ever seen in my fucking life. They told us it was going live on September 17th at fucking 6 a.m. Pacific time. That's what they said.
It's so bad.
6 a.m. Pacific time. They said it was going live. And so I woke up at 7:45 Central, which is 2 hours, you know, ahead of Pacific time, right? I gave myself 15 minutes to get up, get myself ungroggy or whatever. You know, get up. I go to Nvidia's website. I got Amazon open. I got, you know, fucking Best Buy open. I'm ready to buy this card. You know, I'm super ready. I'm trying to drop $700. Fucking 8 o'clock rolls around. Nothing goes live. No websites go live. It's a fucking disaster. They're all sold out immediately. They were sold out. This is what happened to me. This was my experience trying to pre-order the 3080. I refreshed at 8 a.m. and it went from notify me to sold out in 5 seconds. Like literally never even was available. And then Best Buy started trolling people. Some cards were available, some weren't, but you couldn't put them in your cart. And if you put them in your cart, it would take it out of your cart. When you went to your cart, it was horrible. You couldn't get them. And it's been like this since with the Nvidia 3080. And then Xbox today did their pre-orders and they, you know, were laughing at Sony because Sony mishandled it so badly or whatever. And they were like, 22nd is when it's going to be. And it ended up being, I think it was 8 a.m. Pacific is when they said they were going to drop. And while Xbox's launch of the pre-orders was better, the retailers actually listened. They all went live mostly around that time. Amazon was a little later, but most of them went live at 8 a.m. But it was still a shit show because these retailer websites could not handle the traffic that they were getting. Like, they were all crashing. Amazon's listing for the Xboxes was literally when you get an error with the little dogs they put up, the little doggy pictures. Yeah, the cute little dogs they flash at you. Oh, this page doesn't exist. Oops, sorry. Woof, woof. No. Didn't fucking exist. Woof, woof. None of this shit. This is a disaster. What are we doing? This is 2020. What are we doing? We have all this technology. We have all this power, and we can't keep a retail web page open for pre-orders? What are we doing?
I will say, someone made a good point.
I'm so mad this week.
Someone made a good point saying that Xbox's launch was probably a little bit worse, and they're probably at fault for this. And you can look at it from both ways. But the bots, right? People make bots for this stuff.
Oh, yes.
So they probably already had their bots ready to deploy as soon as that everything went live and all the stuff got bought up if you weren't lucky enough. Mm-hmm. My friend, both of my friends in my group chat got it. So I still don't see how y'all didn't get it because it was available everywhere for at least a good hour. It didn't sell out as fast as the PS5.
I didn't want the Xbox, so I didn't decide to get one. That's what I'm saying. I think it was better because it was available. Like I was watching Target and like it was up for like 30 minutes. Like I could get it if I wanted it, but some people didn't have that experience. Like they had my Nvidia experience where they literally could never get the page to load. Like it was just broken for them, you know? Like it was just, you know? So
yeah, so I mean it was pretty crazy out there. I mean
yeah.
Sorry guys. And then oh yeah, Tiara, did you
end up getting one? You didn't, right?
Nope.
You can try. I'm gonna look out for you. I'm gonna put all my mail stuff up for my emails, because they said they're gonna put them back up sporadically from now to the launch. So,
I mean, I was trying to help you out. I did send a text to everybody that I knew when the Xbox ones went live.
Yeah.
So some people trolled me and were like, "Oh, I get a PC, fucking whatever, dude." Okay. Maybe Montrell wants an Xbox. All right, fuck you, Jet. If you're listening, not. But fuck you, motherfucker.
Yeah, but I don't know. It was funny. I mean, I got killed online yesterday because I wanted to get a.
Oh yeah, I saw this.
Because I said I wanted a white PS4.
Yeah, Montrell. Yo. Jar, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking to myself, y'all really have to download this game. Among Us. Y'all really have to download this game. It's like the next wave. It's like, how we go through waves. Like, remember there was like the Flappy Bird wave?
The Flappy Bird wave. Yeah, I remember that.
Then there was Angry Birds. This is like the new like mobile wave. And it's like so funny.
Yeah, but no, I said I wanted the black. No, I said I wanted the white PS5. I was like, I think the white PS5 looked better than the black one. And oh my god,
the Dr. Umar video started dropping in the comments, man. Oh,
I was trying to use the one. I was gonna try to use the one that you used for the basketball one. It was like, okay, could it be cake? And it was like a watermelon. I was trying to use that one, but it was too far. It was too far in your mentions. In
my mentions, yeah.
He got ratioed really hard. It was like
funny.
3-to-1 quote retweets versus likes. It was bad.
It was funny. So I thought that was just hilarious. How everyone, it was all the good fun. No one was like actually serious about it. So
yeah, right. No, they were definitely playing with you. It was really fun to watch, though. It was really fun to watch because you were getting slain constantly. But I actually personally like the black one myself. I definitely prefer the black controller. If that. Like, was this real, by the way? Like, is this a real thing or somebody make it?
They say that Sony is going to start pre-orders for that possibly next month. I'm not sure, but they did say that Sony is looking into making the black PS.
Sony, don't fucking do this to me, okay? Like, I have a pre-order in with Sam's, and man, you're gonna make me. Maybe it's better they do it pre-release. Actually, maybe it's better.
I think they should do it post-release.
Like, I don't, because I'm gonna be so mad. I'm gonna want that one, dude. I want that controller. That black controller is dope. Oh my god, I love that. I love that color.
I still think the white one looks way better, but it's just a personal preference, I guess. Because I mean, I don't know.
I just think that the black with the blue, the kind of blue lighting on the under the touchpad and everything like that. Like, I just think it looks super good. Like, to me, so. I don't know. So yeah, pre-ordering has been a nightmare. Let's figure this out, everybody. Like, retailers, you fucking knew. Like, in the case of the Xbox One, like, all of you knew when you were dropping this, and everyone else knew. You told, like, everyone was told when this was dropping. You should have been ready. So, how are you not ready?
I do like what GameStop did with this, though, with the Xbox instead of the PS5.
Yeah.
They placed you in line to get to the website, and once you got in the website, you can pre-order it with no problem. I think retailers should start doing that. So like if I log in and I'm in line, that's my line and I can't leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think they should just do that. I think that's more organized than like, trying to just have everyone click on the site at one time and then the whole thing crash and everything like that.
Yeah, dude, like you said, the bots, dude. Like, it turns into a thing where the bots win. Like, the rest of us get fucked and the bots win. Because I read that what happened to Nvidia on Nvidia's store was that some of the bots figured out how to pre-order the cards before they went live. So that's why there was no stock. Like, they just went out of stock immediately because they were already all fucking pre-ordered by bots.
Wait,
like,
really?
Yeah, that's what I read that somewhere. And if that's true, that's crazy. But even if it's not true, like I said, it went from notify me to out of stock, dude. Like, and they said Nvidia's statement, they apologized, and Sony also apologized, but whatever. Like, what does that do for any of us?
I don't
Is
know.
that
I think
they said they said
excuse.
pre-orders sold them out in 50 seconds.
Yeah, I think they're using this COVID shit as an excuse. Like, there's no reason none of these companies should have been short on stock like this. I mean, I don't know.
Nvidia is particularly bad. I am really upset with them. Like, Sony and Microsoft, I'm less upset with, because there will be pre-order stock in the next couple months. We're not like at launch yet. You will be able to get a console if you're really diligent. I believe. I think that is definitely going to be the case. But Nvidia specifically built their launch of this 3070, 3080, 3090 line of cards so that scalpers win. Because if you fucking know you're limited on stock on the 3080, why are you launching it now when you're launching the 3070 in a month? Why are you doing it that way? Like, why didn't you launch both cards at the same time and give us all the same amount of chance? And also, you'd have way more stock available in a month. Like, why did you do it this way? You splitting the cards up is letting the scalpers win every time, because they're the ones who are going to get in first with their bots. Like, it's a terrible launch. Like, horrible. Absolutely ass. And they did it on purpose so they can make their stock prices fucking jump, because it's like, oh, we sold out of all of our cards. Like, oh, you can't even get one. They sell out in 5 seconds. Like, fuck you, dude. Like, you know what? I'm going to go buy an AMD card because they'll probably be available, and they'll be half the fucking price.
They haven't even fucking released their fucking AMD cards yet. I'm still waiting because I'm trying to upgrade my PC and they still haven't released them yet. So
you'll find out at the end of October.
These
cards are getting announced. So, but people are saying actually it's going to be just as bad with those. So we'll find out. But I'm just like so irritated with Nvidia. Like Xbox and Sony, it was bad, but like there will be more. You'll be able to get it. It's not that bad. The 30 series, it feels like at this point, like I'm not going to be able to buy one until like next year in like March. Like if I actually want one. So, all right,
Bloomberg sucks.
Let's move on.
Article limit. Fuck you.
Let's move on to our next story. This is a follow-up to the Tencent story from about a month ago, actually a month and a half ago at this point, when the U.S. government banned WeChat and TikTok. And they put that 45-day ban or whatever. Well, we talked about the gaming side of that because Tencent owns a lot of gaming companies. Well, there was no action at that point. We found out that nothing was happening to the gaming division as well. It looks like that might not be the case going forward, to be guaranteed. So the Committee on Foreign Investments in the U.S. has sent letters to companies, including Epic Games, Riot Games, and others that are owned by Tencent, inquiring about their security protocols and handling Americans' personal data, which is exactly why WeChat and TikTok were banned, because they were not satisfied with the answers on that front. This is interesting. I mean, obviously, we don't have any more real information than that, but this could have very large ramifications in gaming if it becomes a thing that they're not satisfied with. Because like we've said before, Riot's owned by them fully. Epic Games, they have an almost majority stake, very close to, I think it's like 40% or something like that, stake in that. And then they own a bunch of other companies as well in gaming that operate in the United States. So what do you guys think about this? That the eye is turning now onto gaming, the gaming side of Tencent's holdings.
I think it's been a long time coming, to be honest with you.
Right. We've talked about this a lot.
Yeah. We've been talking about this for like the last year and a half now. Like, so I'm kind of glad that everyone else is starting to see, because I was getting concerned. I'm like, or is no one going to take up any kind of arms against them? Like, they're really taking up the industry. So, unfortunately, I think it's all a political move. I don't think it's going to be an actual thing to get Tencent out. I think it's just like another political, like, maneuver. Right. But I think someone should take it seriously, because they're hitting the untapped market. Like, it's almost like the I don't want to be like this, but like it's almost like the quote unquote SJW wave, and how they hit journalism. How a lot of people who couldn't really break into journalism, like, kind of broke in through the gaming side of journalism, and they use that as their forefront to make some crazy wild articles. I feel like Tencent was doing that with gaming as well, because they know it's such a like, as far as Western and Americans are, a lot of us don't know about gaming like that. And even though it's like a $1 billion industry by now, a lot of people still don't know a lot of information about it, and they kind of snuck their way through the technology side, and they're getting away with it. So,
well, and they've made really smart investments, dude. Like, at really, like, way before they were smart investments, they made smart investments. Like, they bought 93% of Riot in 2011, you know, and then they bought the other 7%, I think, a year later. And look how that's panned out. Like, Riot Games is one of the largest, has one of the most popular games on the planet, you know, in League of Legends, and it's been like that for almost a decade at this point. And like, they got into Epic. They bought 40% of Epic, I think, in 2013 or something like that, for $330 million. What is that worth now? Like, Sony spent like $200 million for like 2% of Epic or something like that, like a few months ago. Like, it's, yeah. So like, they're very very smart in their investments for the most part within the game sector, which is why they're scary, because they can get control of things that are very, very large and very influential within the gaming space. So the fact that the US government is taking note of that makes a lot of sense, because I mean, these gaming companies, they get our data just as much as, you know, social apps do, you know, or any other site, you know, like a shop or anything like that, you know. So because like, we have to enter our information to make an account, you know. It's like, that's the way all these games work at this point, particularly the online ones, of course. So it's not surprising to me that it's happening. It's just something we'll be monitoring for sure. I'll be interested to see how it plays out. All right, let's move on. We've only got a couple more stories here. This is a kind of a minor one, but one I wanted to touch on, because this is a game I feel like that a lot of people just stick their head in the sand on. So Michell Ancel has quit Ubisoft. He is the creator of Rayman, Rabbids, and Beyond Good and Evil. And he was working on Beyond Good and Evil 2 for Ubisoft, which is a game that was announced, I believe, 5 years ago at this point. And he has departed Ubisoft, and he's basically quitting gaming. He's going to work on a wildlife sanctuary. So who knows what Ubisoft did to him to make him want to get out entirely. But I'm bringing this story up because the article that I read, and a lot of the articles I saw, were saying that Beyond Good and Evil 2 development is continuing. I mean, I'm sure they're saying that, but I feel like this game's dead. Like, this feels like vaporware at this point to me. We haven't heard about this game since it was announced. Like, they've been constantly talking about it, like, oh yeah, we're still developing. They haven't shown shit for it in years since the initial announcement. So I don't know. I don't think it's happening, personally.
Well, I did read that he hasn't been involved with it for a while, actually.
Which makes me think it's been dead for a long time.
Yeah. But I can tell through the way he made Beyond Good and Evil 1 that he loved animals. Because there are a lot of anamorphic characters in that game. So
right.
It kind of makes sense for him to just be like, hey, I actually just want to go strictly work with animals now. So I don't think it was because of, maybe partly it was because of Ubisoft. I would say maybe 30% because of Ubisoft, but 70% was he just really loves fucking animals. So yeah, but I do agree with you though. I don't think this is gonna get made. If it is, it's not gonna be on par with the first one, to be honest with you. So I don't know. Right. Call me a pessimist, but that's what it is.
Either of you guys played Beyond Good and Evil?
I played the first one.
No.
Okay.
Never even heard of it.
Was it a good game, Montrell?
Yeah, I liked it. I loved it.
Okay, fair enough. Well,
it's not like oh my god, this is like God of War level or like Sly Cooper level. Well, I put on Sly Cooper's level. Like, that's how it kind of got me on that, front. But like,
fair enough.
It's not like a amazing thing like Ratchet and Clank or anything like that,
Yeah, but were you like super excited when the second one was announced?
No, I thought they weren't even going to do a second one because it had such a niche crowd.
Well, it had been rumored for so long, dude, and then they showed it, and it was just like a thing. Like, no one believed it was ever being made, and then all of a sudden they had a trailer for it, and then we haven't really heard much from it since. And it's like, then this guy's leaving. It's like I almost feel like they were never making this game, and they just wanted to like be in the news cycle. Like I don't know. So, all right, let's move on to our final story. There was a Nintendo Direct Mini last week that was focused on third parties. Once again, they've been doing a lot of these lately. And the main game to come out of this that I want to talk about with you guys is Monster Hunter Rise was announced, and it is going to be a Switch exclusive. And there was a trailer for it. There's some new mechanics. There's a wolf that you're going to be able to ride around. There's also a lot more traversal capabilities, it looks like. From what it looks like, there was like a kind of a grappling hook kind of mechanic going on, and you could like climb the side of like mountainsides and shit. That's what they were showing in the trailer, at least. So I don't know. How did you feel about this?
I think it looks fucking cool. It looks like they took. I hope they improve the mechanics. Like we already talked about the mechanics, so I hope they improved on as far as that. But it looks like one thing they did do, in which we had confidence in, me and you both had confidence in, they improved the maneuvering. They used the little clutch claw, or what they call the wisp, the wire bug, as a way to dodge now, and it's going to be incorporating more moves. So I mean, I think that's or more weapons rather. So I think that's the next step. I think they always do something experimental on the mobile side, like on the smaller platforms, and then they bring it into the mainline game. So I'm really excited for Monster Hunter World 2, and I'm really excited for this game too. It's interesting why they changed the name model, and I think it's a really good strategy. Actually, they're trying to go away from the number model, which means they can get more new players in. So if you play Monster Hunter Rising, like you're like, oh, okay, this is like maybe the first Monster Hunter game. But I mean, obviously for veterans, it's not. But like, imagine if it was called Monster Hunter 7. Like, no one ever tried to play that shit. Like, what the
fuck? That is fair. That's why they got away from that after 4, I think, right?
Yeah, yep. So I think that's really cool. I think a lot more people are going to play it too. And I'm really excited to see it. I've been looking for like a Monster Hunter World on the Switch that I can just play on the go and play on lunch at work or something like that. And I think this is going to be the one. Like, I think this is really, I love it. I like the way it looked. I love everything about it. And they're going to show more at the Tokyo Game Show as well.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it looked good. I mean, it definitely looks like it's not the old engine. That definitely it looks newer than that. I mean, I'm not sure.
It running off the new RE engine that Monster Hunter World is using. So it is.
Okay, it is. Okay. Yep. That's good to know. Okay, that gives me a lot more optimism about this game because I wasn't sure watching the trailer because it obviously looks a lot prettier than the old games, but it's not hard to like put textures in to make the game look prettier, you know. So yeah, I don't know how like jazzed I am about this because you know how Monster Hunter is. Like this game, there's gonna be this, and then there's gonna be an ultimate version of this fucking game in like a year after it comes out. So it's like I may just wait for the ultimate version because that's what I prefer. I don't really like these like initial releases without that. I kind of remembered that when I played World, I was like, oh, that's right. There's no G rank, and I'm like, yeah, man, this kind of sucks.
Hopefully they won't do that with this game. They might just do the DLC model.
But even so, I'm gonna have to wait like a year for that DLC to come out, you know.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I might as well just wait for it and buy the whole thing, you know. At that point. So.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to wait, but more power to you if you do wait.
I mean, I've done it before. I did it with Generations. I didn't buy that on 3DS. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, we are getting to a point with these Monster Hunter games, though, where the names they're coming up with to these monsters are starting to really be kind of like, come on, dude. Like the main monster it seems like is called fucking Magnamalo. What the fuck is that? There's one in the trailer called Tetranodon. I don't even know how to say that. Like, what is that? How is that a word? It's Tetranodon. That's what it's spelled. That's how it's spelled. Like, what is that? What is that?
I think some of the Japanese names are like way easier to pronounce, to be honest with you.
Yeah, do they have a different name in Japan?
Yeah, they do. They all of them had different names. I think except for like the Rathlos. I don't think it's called Rathlos in Japan.
Yeah, they should just use those in the US release or the Western release rather, because these names are starting to get stupid. Like Aknasom, that was one of the monsters, is like this bird creature. Like what the fuck? What? They're like really scraping the bottom of the barrel at this point for these names. So yeah. Tiara, do you have any interest in Monster Hunter? Have you ever played one or been interested in playing one?
Yeah, this guy I used to talk to convinced me to buy Monster Hunter at $60 when it came out on Xbox a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I paid it, and it was cool, but it was super repetitive, and I couldn't get past it. Like
that is,
I was like at level like 98, and I was just like, why am I doing this? Why do I care if I get to 100? This game is super repetitive.
Yeah, it's definitely
So I couldn't play it anymore.
It's definitely a repetitive game.
So everybody was like, did I get Iceborne? I was like, no, why would I get Iceborne?
Yeah, it is a hyper repetitive game. Like it eventually gets to a point where you're like, why am I still doing this? Why have I fought Rajang 80 times? Like I can't anymore.
Iceborne, like I'm kind of glad you didn't play it, because Iceborne, the mechanics they introduced to that game just made the repetitiveness go way up to where I can't even touch the game anymore. Like I just refuse to touch that game now. So it's
yeah,
and that's pretty sad, because I know with the older games, like the older generation games, I used to go back and just play them randomly, but like I can't do it like with Ice World. So
right. They also announced Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin, which is a so this is a trap. Don't fall for this if you're a Monster Hunter fan. This game is a turn-based RPG, is what the original Monster Hunter Stories was. And I played the demo of it, being like, "Oh, this looks really cool. It's a Monster Hunter game." Is like, no, dude. You're playing a turn-based RPG, so no, that's not. If you're not into that, don't even think about this game. So, and then one other game I want to bring up that they announced was Disgaea 6. And I don't know if this game had been announced before this. I don't think it had. I think it might have been announced, but like not shown at all. And they showed a trailer of it, and it's 2.5D now instead of pixel art. And I'm really sad that we've gotten to the point that Disgaea is now doing 2.5D, because it looked like it didn't look good. I'm like, oh no, this game looks like a fucking budget game now, dude. Like, Disgaea can't even do pixel art. Like we've lost it in like every franchise, man. It's just, I get it, it's cheaper to make the game, but that means that I feel like I had heard rumors that NIS was not doing well, and that kind of confirms it for me that they're trying to cut corners on development. So yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I haven't played Disgaea in so long, so I mean,
right. I haven't played it since 4.
Was that the one that was on the PSP? The last
no.
one I played was on the PSP.
No, 1 and 2 were on PSP. I think 3 and 4 were on Vita. Yeah, okay. 3 and 4 were on Vita. I think even 5. No, 5 didn't go to Vita. 5 went to Switch. Because Vita was dead by that point, so they didn't bother. But it's all, obviously, these games have all been on the main consoles as well.
Yeah, so I did play. Knows. Yeah, I did play the Saga 1 then on the PSP. I loved it. I thought the story was pretty funny.
It was. This guy one's great, actually. It's the best one. So yeah. Otherwise, they did announce that Ori and the Will of the Wisps is coming to Switch, which hadn't been actually officially announced yet. So that's another Xbox games exclusive that is coming to Switch now. So it's no longer exclusive to Xbox and PC. So that's pretty much it to come out of that. So we are done. That's all the news, guys. That's it for the show. Montrell, you had some bullshit you wanted to talk about at the beginning of the show that we didn't get a chance to talk about. Do you want to bring that up now?
No, we actually talked about it. It was the console thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a console thing. But
what do you mean, the pre-orders?
No, the black and white console thing.
Yeah. I see. Okay. Well, Tiara, do you have anything you want to talk about?
Nope. Except we all need to play Among Us.
Fair enough. Everybody join the ship. Become part of the collective.
Yes, become
Play
part of
Among
the yes, become part of the hive.
Don't be an imposter. Don't be a dirty, dirty imposter, because you will be found out, and we will throw you off the ship. All right, that is it for us, guys. We hope that you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please like the episode, review the show, and subscribe to the show on whatever feed you were listening to it on, and please share it with your friends. If you'd like to talk to any of us on Twitter, you can do so at iTrapForTheHokage for Montrell. That's the number 4, not the word. Tiara is at Victorian Jedi. I am at ThunderNut01, and the show is at The Player's Take. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter, or you can send an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. That's going to be it for this one, guys. We hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you on the next one. All right, bye.